Hi, my name is Gerald Rhodes, and this is part two of my story of recovery. So, in this portion, I want to talk about more of the etymology of my drinking, and I want to talk more specifically about the night that I got arrested for a DUI. So, I noticed that I had been drinking more and more. There was a short period of time where I had stopped drinking for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. But then I decided that I just fell off the wagon and I started drinking again. Except I started drinking a little bit more than I usually did. And it was a way for me to really numb myself from my life. I was really unhappy with where I was living, what I was doing, and I just wasn't being the person that I wanted to be. So I was desperately trying to change my living situation, and I was doing everything that I could, and I took a step backwards, and then I took a step forward, and I really started to try and make some momentum towards changing my living situation, not only for myself but also for my family too. That's what I desperately wanted to do, and in that I was drinking more and more and more. Still going to work every day, still getting all of my work done, more or less. I'll come to that in a moment. And so that night that I got arrested for DUI, it was just like any other night, except I was trying to negotiate with my new would-be landlord. And I was desperately trying to get her onto the phone, and it just wasn't working out. She was up in the mountains. It was difficult to communicate. Long story short, I wasn't able to get in contact with her. I wanted to ask her an important question about the lease. So I was texted my now former wife, let her know that I was on my way home. And just as I was about to leave, some of my friends from the brewery that I worked at, they unexpectedly asked me to come over to a party that they were having. Now, I typically never got invited to these sorts of parties, but nonetheless, I decided to go. I already had a couple of beers before ending my shift, typical of what I would normally do, and what I decided to do was grab some more beer, grab some tequila, and go over there and hang out with my coworkers. I had a few more drinks, I don't know, a shot or two of tequila, a couple more beers, and what I did was, I remember one of my friends asking, Gerald, are you okay to drive? And by this point, I just wanted to go home, and I said, no, I'm fine. I'm going home. So I get in the car, and I'm meandering. I'm on my way home, and I decided to stop off in this one neighborhood where I just imagined that me and my family could possibly live one day. And I was just looking through the neighborhood, looking at the houses, looking at the condos, looking at places where we might be able to live. And as I was getting ready to leave the neighborhood, I come around a corner, I hit the corner so hard that my side airbag deployed, my curtain airbag deployed, and there happened to be a cop right there. Now, this was not my first time drinking and driving. This was not the first time that I had too much to drink and decided to get into the car. But this was the first time that I had gotten caught. And I take full responsibility for my actions that night. It was me who decided to get in the car when I had too much to drink. It was me that decided to bring beer to that party. It was me that decided to bring more tequila to that party. And it was me who decided to go to that party instead of going home like I said I was going to do. I take full responsibility for what I did that night. And I take full responsibility for all the consequences that happened afterwards. The years of having a breathalyzer in my car, having to do that in front of my children each and every time I started up the car, multiple times while driving. I take responsibility for getting kicked out of the house. I went after I got arrested. I went. My dad bailed me out, and I went back and told my former wife what happened, and she told me to get out. And that was pretty much the end of my marriage there. A couple days later, I got fired from my job. There were lots of other job performance-related consequences to that, but nonetheless, like I said, I brought beer, I brought tequila from my work to this party. I chose to do that. Now, this is not to explain away what I did, or this is not to rationalize what I did, or this is not to say that my drinking problem was lesser or greater than anyone else's. This is just to say what happened. And like I said, I take full responsibility for what I did. Stay tuned for my next video. I'll talk more about my journey to recovery. And in the meantime, have an awesome day.